and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at a game called Of Life and Land. I've seen a number of people stream this game, and I'm always on the hunt, as we know, for a good colony sim builder. I mean, I can't get enough of these kind of games. Just keep throwing them at me. I've played so many great ones, and I was thinking the other day, like, have there been ones where I'm just like maybe not for me, but like not bad games. I really enjoy the games, and I've played this game. I've played a couple of hours just to get a feel for it, to see, you know, what it was about, how it works, so I could show you. And I was a little like, all right. And then after the 2 hour mark, I was like, oh, like after you make it to, like, there's like stages, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I made it to like the second and third stage, and I was like, oh, the game really begins to pick up a bit. So I don't know that we're going to see that far into the game, but I wanted to show you the landscape and the systems and the layout and how it's a little bit different than your normal colony sim builder. There's a bit of a story here, which in my older age, I've really begun to like, I like the story on these kind of games. I've gotten to the point now where like I play a city builder or a colony builder without a story, and I'm like, oh, so we're just gonna throw me in and that's going to be it? I don't know. The music is on, but it is very light because it is, and this is more of a personal preference thing. I think it's a little repetitive. Okay, so can we talk just 2 seconds about this opening screen? It's so beautiful. There's so much going on here. I love it. Hi, it's Drax. This is the part at the beginning of the video that everyone skips. For those of you that didn't jump forward, enjoy watching and listening. Might you consider supporting me further by visiting my Ko-fi or clicking on the join button on this video? All right, that's it. Back to the video. All right, so we're going to hit start new game, and we're going to say start new game here. This is our only one. And then we're going to skip the story because I don't want to blow it for you, so you can watch it on your own. Takes us to this screen. I have the UI scaled up a little bit because game developers are 20 years old and have the eyes of a hawk, and I have the eyes of not a 20-year-old, and so I was squinting. So I think that's a really cool thing, and we don't see it enough in games. I'm going to hit pause. That you can go into the settings and mess with the UI and make it a little bigger and make it a little less. I think all game developers should take note, like, not everyone has the most amazing eyes, or not just eyes, but not everyone is playing this on a 40-inch, monitor. Some of us are still, in 27-inch land. And probably some of us are even small, 24, 20 inches. Do they even make 17-inch monitors anymore? I don't know. All right, so here's the layout of the screen. Let's just do a real quick run through. You've got help and tips, and if we close this, we can always open it in the far right up here with a little question mark. And then we've got where we are, the stage, the population progress. This is faction data, so this is us. These are all the people. If they're healthy, where they're working. Storage tells us what I have in storage. Census gives us some information on animals. And then buildings, we don't have any yet, so cool. I think one thing to remember in all of these is you can pin them, you can minimize them, and you can close them. And this will come in handy in a little bit. At the top here, we have information, wealth. This is showing us these little things pull down to show us what kind of food we have. And then this goes throughout, right? Like fodder, drinks, materials, and equipment. This is the pause and game speed, as well as the year and the time. This goes all the way up to 300, and I have run the game at 300. So this is impressive. And it does a really cool thing. So when you start it and you hit pause, you can see it goes to 0 and then puts it right back. That's another like, hey, game developers, look at this game. They did it right. Like when you hit pause, it should pause and then return to the same speed you were at. All right. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Seasons. I like the colors and the graphics. It's really cool. And then here we've got some toggles to show different things, and you can turn these on and off as you want. This is the menu. Brings us back here. And then quests, and then this is the journal, which was open when we first came in. You got quests, events, and scenarios telling you, you've arrived. You can see that it's saying sheep are stealing, sheep are stealing stuff from the food storage. Down at the bottom here, we have roads. We know it's a great game if you can make roads. This is where the destruct stuff. This is the big build menu. Here we have faction data, which is the same thing as we did up top there. This is the map, which brings us here, which will be something we look at a little bit later. We can't do anything here yet. Under the build menu takes a little bit of getting used to for me. I like this toggle the menus in and out button. And then we got the basic building stuff, and we'll get into that in just a minute. And then the map, we can look at a bunch of different stuff for the map. We can look at heat, water, dirt, nature, and then we can do the colors based on the map. And then we can also, if we're looking for certain animals and stuff, we can click those here and they'll show on the map. I think what I didn't know right away was that you can do this. You can click here and it puts the map away so you can have more space. Quest is saying, hey, move the camera around. Oh, the camera movements are amazing. It does everything I want it to do. Look how close you can get. I love that. And then it does the all the way around movement. The movement and positioning in this game are top notch. It does everything I want it to do. Like I find there's a lot of games that like stop like right here, and I'm like, why are we stopped right here? Why can't we do a top down view, right? Yeah, and you can come all the way down to ground level and zoom in. It's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Rotating buildings, we're gonna do that in just a second. You can go way out too, look. Way out. And then all the way back in. It's got a tiered up and down landscape. It sort of reminds me of the Beavers game. So that, love it or hate it, I'm sort of blah on this. There's something about I think it's my laziness that's like, oh, Drax, I don't want to walk up here. Can't we just put it all flat and I'll deal with it? But this is the choice that was made, and I got used to it, and I actually enjoyed it. So now we're gonna be placing buildings and rotating buildings, and the first building we're gonna make is, if we go over here, this breaks down into resources, production, community, fences and walls, and then plants and fields. We're going to build these basic ones right off the bat. And the forester stump, if we read, build a small place to produce wood and collect treasures of the forest. And at the bottom there, you can see, hey, this is what it requires and this is what it produces. If we click on this and then click this out, then we can hover and say, hey, these are leaves. There's so many games that don't do this. This is another really great thing that like, you go to like hover on this and then you try to hover on the little thing to tell you what it is and you can't. And you're just like, oh, you got to build it and then you can do it. So like, I love that this pops out. It can be put away if you don't want to see it. It pops out and then it shows you what these things are. Like, it's pretty clear on this, like because these pictures are pretty good. But as you get into some later game buildings, it's not necessarily clear. Like, you're like, wait, what is that? Is it a rock? Is it tin? What is it? I don't know. So I love this. And I love that you can put it away. And then when placing it, you can also just like minimize this. See how I minimize that up so that it's still out. And so now we can really see. You can also pick this up and move it wherever you want. Holy I love it. I love it. Whoever designed the UI of this game, 1, is a gamer, and 2, I love you. All right, so now you can see some little numbers there showing us 2 fruit trees, 12 broadleaf trees, 6 conifers, 19 bushes. So we're going to try to pull this. We want to put this next to some trees, right? Because that's what we're after. And I'm thinking like 20 bushes. So this is like 12 trees. Let's see if we can find, what's it back here? Like 16 trees. So maybe this is it. And then it wants us to rotate it. It's a simple R button for the rotation. Oh my God, so simple. And if we move, you can see if we move it like 1 over. All right, so I think I'm gonna put it right there. And then if we click on it, it's gonna say, here's what's happening. I'm gonna turn up the speed here to 2x. Probably gonna go faster. Here they all come. They're gonna come down here and build this thing. And it's just gonna go boop, 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 boop. Done. Now if we click on it, it'll tell us it's going to cut down trees, and we can move this by, we can move the priority of what we want it to do first or last or whatever right here. I think it's really great. Cut down trees, collect branches, collect mushrooms, and then we can also tell it to harvest leaves if we want to. I don't have that on. And then employees, we have it here saying allow citizens to automatically be assigned. So someone should be automatically assigned. If it's not, we can click here and we can hire somebody. And there we go. And now they're going to come over and start collecting raw wood. Perfect. It's saying, hey, you're going to need to gather a gatherer shack. So that's what we're going to do next. We'll go build gatherer shack. I'm going to pause it a second. This one is tough because we want it to be able to... This is where like the storage dump is right here. And if we look at like the ground, like there's a bunch of berry bushes up there. Look at how many are up there. And kind of want it to be close in the beginning, but I'm almost thinking like, so 34 grass, 11 bushes, 2 fruit trees, 8 wild wheat, 7 conifers, wild wheat. Because it's taking like, not only is it taking up here, you can kind of see like the little black and white dots is what it's pulling in. So I think like maybe let's do, what's the difference between, maybe we go right here. All right. And I'll unpause it. And then we need garden beds and simple stonemasons are next. And so the simple stonemason, let's go ahead and do this one too. And we got to find stone. And you can see like where there's no stone, it just says nothing interesting within reach. And then we come here, there's 9 stones. Look at all that wild wheat right there. And I think that I'm going to pause it and I'm just going to say like, when I first looked at this, I'd come from another game just recently that I'd played and it was like getting used to the graphics was a little jarring at first, but as I've played more and more, I'm like, oh, yeah. Now I can see the bushes and you know how your mind kind of just goes, okay, you get it, I get it. It's very easy to start beginning to spot like what's out here and what you need. I mean, there's 22 stone, but that's quite a walk for them. I feel like the easy stone pickup, there's 5 there. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously like, oh, there was a 10. Did you see that? Hi, that's where we're going to put it. So let's build that there. And then a garden bed. You know, the garden bed, I don't know. It needs to be collected by this thing. And so maybe we do. And then another thing to remember is that they don't tell you here is that, and maybe they tell it, maybe it says in the tip here. So we're going under plants and fields and then garden beds down here. Create a new garden bed. If we take care of the garden, we'll get lots of roots, berries, and some grass. If we don't put a fence around this garden bed, all of the animals will come and eat all of the stuff right out of it. So that's something to think about when you're building this. And so it's a bit of like, just like all of these city builders, colony builders, there's a bit of a juggle in the beginning on what you need to do, like what's the priority and how do you manage that, and so you kind of want to, you're only getting so much wood per turn, and to build a fence, if we go to fences over here, it's going to take sticks, which we have. If you can see, very very tiny there. If we click on fence, you can see it says we have 8 in stock. I really like that. I would, remember I've got the UI turned up and it's that small. So I think some refinement on this, maybe this number could be bigger. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a UI person, but I just feel like that could be a little bit bigger. I mean, you can hover on it and see. They built a simple stonemason. So I don't want to build a field without putting a fence around it because the animals are just going to come and eat it. All right. So they've built a stonemason. Hi. And they've got a worker, and so they're pulling stone. Perfect. And then if we click on this construction site, I like this part too. It tells you all the delivered materials. And Ostriv does this too, where it shows you what's sitting in the building place and what's left to come in. And I think it's really helpful when doing these kind of. So it's not just like a percentage done. It's like here's what's left to be delivered, and once they deliver it, they'll build it. So we're 2 sticks shy of a gatherer shack. So they're almost there on that. I know what you're thinking. Drax, where are they going to sleep? They're going to sleep on the ground for a little bit. Should we build some roads too? Yeah, absolutely. The road building's kind of fun and pretty easy. That was it. And then they'll come through and build it. If I wanted them to build this road, for instance, and this goes for any building, you can click on it and then you can say, hey, let's switch it to high priority. And then someone will come along and make this their priority. the dudes, they move faster on the roads. So it behooves you to build some roads. I think it's really cute that when the animals are sleeping, they've got a little Z above them. All right, so it's 2200. You can see no one is moving, right? So everyone's sleeping. It's nighttime. So we can come up here to the top right. We can speed up the time really fast, and we can bring it back down. And you can see everyone's cold. So that is an incredibly nice feature. I love the day-night cycle. So they built a little road, little path. It's awesome. All right, so Gather Shack's done, and you can see they're already beginning. I think what they're doing is they're also taking the storage stuff and they're going to pile it into this shack. So let's do the last thing on our list over here, which is build a garden bed. I think it'll look great right here. So let's do this. We'll just make it really small because this is just to show you what's going on. So let's do this one there. I'll unpause it. And then I'm just rotating, and then we're going to put a gate in there. I'm going to bring this out so we can see. We'll go right here. And they'll start bringing it in. They've already built one piece of it. We'll get rid of that for a second. They're cold because it's cold. And then we can go here and plants and fields. And then we can say, we're going to do a garden bed. And I didn't click on the right buttons. It's really easy. There we go. Good. And now it's ready to be built, and they'll come along. If we click on it, it needs 2 bark roots and some branches, so they'll come and make it. And there's no animation on the movement of the gate. They just walk through that. Okay, cool. So we've done the first part. We built one, and now we can click on this and we can see it's already beginning. It's gonna start producing food like pretty quickly, right? I love it. Changing names. Click on the name of your settlement to change it. All right. It's called Valley right now. We're gonna call it Draxovia. Draxovia. And then it's saying, hey, even though it's wonderful spring, the weather affects us. Build straw huts. So we need to build some housing. This is one of those ones where it's just so tough because like all these little fruit, everything you take out like disappears from the map. So you're like, where do I put these houses where I can get the best bang for my buck? And I think, this is a personal preference, I think, but we're going to come straight down the middle here with a road. And then I think we'll come in here and we'll go to community streets and services. Here's the straw hut. And we'll come in and rotate these. And maybe we put one there, and maybe we do another one's over here. And we'll close that. And then we'll wait. Maybe we speed up some time here. And then you can see them start to move. That's when I usually like slow it back down. I'm like, okay, hold on. All right, if we click on the house, we can see it's going to take a lot of grass and some branches. And this is going to be a couple minutes because it's going to take a while for them to pull all this together. But if you go up top here to materials, we can see we're pulling in stone. And then if you hover, it does another really cool thing where it shows you like produced versus stored goods. I like that this is right here, and I haven't seen it yet, but I would love something that kind of, me, and I want to see the data in a big spreadsheet on the screen. Up here on the top also we're seeing that we have no free beds. It's -10, so 10 people don't have beds. This is something that's very helpful. I think this is another thing that a lot of games miss, right? I'm always looking for like how many people we have, how many people are coming in, and how many beds am I needing to build, right? Like those seem like things that are just like, and that it's a quick look, right? Especially when you start to get surplus beds, you're like, okay, cool, we can take on more people because we've got beds. Like it seems so simple, but I've played a few games recently where like that wasn't like evident. And I'm like, how is this not evident? Come on. And if we go, I think this is another fun thing too. We can see here, like, I don't know that I've seen this in too many games. This is how, like, the number of workplaces in their workload. So you can see who has a job and how, like, are they being utilized enough? This person got hit by something. If they fall below 0, I'll die. Oh no. A raccoon is stealing food from a crate. These people are unemployed right now, which is, I would, you know, a note to the developer. Can we get a little sort button? Like, that would be helpful. Like, can we sort it? I was like looking all over the place thinking, can I sort this? But I don't think you can. Yeah, if you just click, you just get the person. It'd be fun to be able to sort that. And then this is telling you that, like, what their needs are. And the needs part of it is going to come in when we go between the different population levels. And these are like, there's a bunch of games that do this. Like, you've got to meet this need to go to the next level, Oh, there's a myriad of, almost all of them have this kind of mechanic. It's like a research tree, but progression with the people. I don't mind it, actually. I like it because then you're like, okay, we just need to get these services together. It gives you nice little goals, right? Instead of just, a lot of people, including me, need the goals. We need the goals. You know, what are we waiting on? We're waiting on grass, right? We're basically waiting on just piles and piles of grass. If we click here, this is bringing in grass, but not at a speed in which we can get these houses finished. I've seen this in both times I've played now, is that, like, there's this weird slowdown where you're like, okay, well, I need this one thing and we're not producing it fast enough. And no matter how fast we speed up the time, right? Like, we don't want to speed it up too much. I don't want to reach winter without these houses done. So then you're like, okay, well, how do we get more grass? We could build another gatherer shack, which is probably a smart move. And so look at 26, 29 grass, 33, 37, 42. Yeah, maybe we toss it back here. 43. All right. And then we say, hey, this is the priority. Come build this thing. And then let's build a road back here. And then I think we could also come into this gatherer's hut and actually give them another person. Say, hey, let's hire another person to gather more faster. They made it out here and then fell asleep, right? They're like, oh, Drax, are you going to build us houses? All right, there, it's built. And then we could come in here and say, oh, whoops, they hired somebody. We still have people that don't have jobs, so let's hire another person. Whoops, sorry about that. There we go. Now we got we got 3 here. Hey, they're pulling in grass. We're pretty close. Like on this one. Oh, they got this one. So we got one. We got one. Hey, all right. So it's saying, hey, you built it. And you can see it took 2 off the top there. Now it's saying, hey, it's time to build some firewood and rough rags. So these are sort of like the last 2 things we're going to build today. And that is, if we go here to production, we go here, it's saying a saw place, which is for producing planks and firewood. I'm going to put it right here, right down by where they're collecting wood. And maybe we even like build a little road, huh? And then rags is a tailoring table. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to put it right there. All right, now we're -2, so we'll need to finish this one last house, and then everyone will be sleeping. And if we click into the housing, I think it's actually quite cool. It shows you who's in there. It shows you they're getting a plus 25 sleep bonus now from not having to sleep on the floor. That's nice. And then we've got some upgrades here, and these upgrades are like bonus sleep plus 5, bonus comfort. Each building has its own upgrades. You can have pets come in and hang out with you. If you click on it, it says, yeah, it's going to cost 5 raw wood yearly. This one's going to cost grass. If we click on it, it'll say, it'll bring the wood in, and then we'll get plus 5. So it should go to 30 when it's all put together, which is very cool. Okay, cool. So here is the tailoring table, and of course they're taking. What I like about these initial ones, and so is that it just takes the base. You already kind of got the ingredients. They just got to start putting it in and making it. And now they're just going to make it, and then they're just going to give it to people. Are just going to come and get it, and they'll slowly start wearing rags. Speaking of progression, you can click here and so you can kind of see where the progression goes. You've got 1, 2 through 5, and then it kind of is like, it kind of gets better as we go along. Hunting lodge, you can make a barn, and then you've got a farm, which is like the upgrade to the gatherer's shack. You've got a simple smelter. So I like this progression. Yeah, here's just a well. You can get a deep well. You got a winery. I'm in, right? And this goes throughout all of the progression, right? We've seen this mechanic in multiple games where it's make the people better, and then you'll get to the next level, and then you can make better stuff and more fun stuff. Water mills, windmills, a dressmaker, weave mill, and then you can build wheat fields, cactuses, bushes. So we can come in here and actually plant grass too. I forgot about that. So you come in here and say, hey, let's add some more grass. And then they're going to bring some roots over, and then we'll have more grass. So that's another way to maybe get around like the Drax debacle, which is like plant trees, plant fruit, plant grass, and that'll help speed it up too. Look at how quick that was. All right, what's left to build? Have we done it? Hire or dismiss a worker, settings and priorities. All right, we did. And so now they're down here taking wood and making planks and firewood, and they're making firewood from sticks too. That'll help come the winter. I think the last couple things to touch on, you can see how many days you have on food, and this number kind of fluctuates. I had just a bit of a problem making sure I had enough to meet the daily requirement, but I think that's more just me learning than the game's balance. Yeah, you can hire and fire a worker, which I kind of think we looked at. If we go under employees, we can say fire, and then we can also hire them. We can hire it hired them right back because it's on auto hire. And then changing the priorities to activities in the production menu. So that's, we already covered that too, saying, hey, listen, let's put vegetables first above grain. And then it's going to take us to the next section, which is hand mill, baker's oven, campfire. The campfire is, let's finish on that actually. Under community, it's a place where everyone comes together and eats. And so they want this to be sort of centrally located. Maybe we put it right there. And then let's speed up to get it made. That'll be a nice, that was fast. It's really fast. I think it's a really cool graphic too. And then everyone kind of comes in. It's hired a couple people and they're cooking food. So they're taking fruits and vegetables once we get the bread situation sorted, and then any meat, and they're grilling it up, and then they're serving it out. And this just makes everyone a little bit happier. And then they hang around and chat, and they get the little faces on there. It's really quite cool. All right, the game is Of Life and Land, and that's just my first look. If you like what you see, there's a rich game here. It's in early access, so even more to come. It's on Steam now. Check it out. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. The video's over. Now it's time for you to do your part. Follow, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.